This computer. Okay. 26 people. Admit them all. All right, here we go.
You want to share your deck again?
Ooh, yeah. Thank you. How is everybody doing? Can I get a thumbs up if you can hear me, please? Perfect. Can I get a thumbs up that you can see the deck, please? Beautiful. Excelente. Okay, let's get started. Appreciate everybody jumping on. We are recording this for everybody's benefit. I know that some folks are still jumping on, but we're going to go ahead and get started. So I appreciate everybody being on tonight. I know it's been a minute since we all chatted last in March, I believe it was. And I do apologize for last week's snafu. I thought I had gotten the message out to everybody, but apparently I made an announcement instead of an announcement, but just in the wrong area of our queue. So I'm learning too. Not perfect at it yet. So I do apologize for that. But we got a great presentation tonight. Look forward to sharing some things. I've got, of course, I've got my bullet points, my talking points, and then I've got several videos that I am going to share with you all from a recent weekend at BLD. And the weekend turned interesting on the last day and the last night, and it caused me to have to dissect the actual game and the championship, which I thought would be beneficial for all of us to kind of share in. And I always give this disclaimer when I share video, it is not to embarrass or put down anybody. It's not. Video is great to have to dissect, to educate, to learn from, and to get better. And I thought that there were some things that we did well, and I thought some things that we probably could have did a little bit better in shored up our overall performance. So I look forward to getting that to you guys and here in a little bit. And then of course we've got Scotty with a message on the administrative side of things. Harrison's got a few notes on the assigning piece. Justin will have some notes on finances. Pete will have some things to talk about, some talking points from Southern California. And I don't know if Stu will talk tonight. We may hear from Stu. I don't know. We may just hear I'm good. I don't know. We'll see. But if we hear from Stu tonight, that's quite the occasion. So we'll chalk that up in the history books. Okay, so I'm going to jump right in and share some of my thoughts and observations up until this point. So, if everybody could continue to demonstrate the one key element, the most important element that we have, and that's communication. I got to be honest with you. I think it gets better and better each and every week. I do. Um, and here's why. Here's why. Simple. For 2 weekends in a row, 2 weekends in a row, we have had zero people show up late that I am aware of. So last week, I got 2 text messages, and everybody was on time Saturday, and everybody was on time Sunday. Games all started, and we hit it. It's amazing. You want to know what I heard this week? Anybody want to take a stab at it? Anybody want to raise your hand? Want to just unmute? Take a stab at what I heard this week? Nobody? Okay, I'm going to tell you what I heard this week. You guys ready? Nothing. Zero. Do you know how rewarding that is? See the smile on my face? It was wonderful. It was glorious. Because normally I wake up to a bit of an S show on Saturday morning or Sunday, or double S show Saturday and Sunday. And I got none of that. None. And I think this is attributed to the wonderful communication that is coming from all facets of our organization. And that is extremely, extremely important. And it's just going to then set us off to the next level and to be able to do the finer points, the educational type of things, the mentoring type of things, the nuts and the bolts, the real important stuff. Don't get me wrong, communication's a very, very big key. But once we get that communication so rock solid and everybody's clicking and everybody understands the cadence and everybody understands their place and where they're supposed to be and the timing and all that, now we get to start to dive into the really good stuff. And that is the nuts and bolts about umpiring. So I had to leave off with the fact that the communication is tremendous. It continues to get better. Everybody's accountable. Everybody is doing what they're supposed to do. And I can't be more thankful to this group of leaders, this group of umpires. Everybody is doing their job to the best of their abilities. And let me tell you something. When you don't get any phone calls that there's problems or you got to, this umpire's sick or this one didn't show up or this one went to the wrong field or whatever. And when you don't get any of that in a 2-day span, pretty impressive, pretty impressive. So thank you. I really, truly appreciate that. On behalf of myself and the staff, we really, really appreciate that. Okay, next point. Balancing high school and collegiate playoffs. We are in the midst of high school and junior college playoffs right now. So we just experienced junior college playoffs round 1 last weekend, and we are diving into high school playoffs starting this week with multiple games running from as early as tomorrow all the way through Saturday, and will continue as the month goes on. So I encourage you folks that dabble in both spaces, or all 3 spaces, the junior college space or the community college, as those folks like to be called now, community college, high school, and then obviously travel baseball. It goes back to that communication piece and keeping us up to date on what you got going and what you can do. And I encourage everybody, if you've got a high school game that's earlier in the day and you can come off and work a few games for us later in the day, awesome, we'll take you. And vice versa. If you want to work earlier in the day because you've got a high school or junior college playoff game, by all means, knock yourself off. If you just want to dedicate your time to your high school playoffs or your collegiate playoffs, or just live in the youth travel ball space, by all means, do all that. I encourage it all and I support it all. So just continue to navigate. We are going to start to get busy. We're going to start to ramp up as those high school playoffs draw to a close. All those high school players then turn to, their travel ball teams or showcase teams and all these events. They just start to blow up and they go absolutely crazy. So I encourage everybody to continue to, work with us, work with the tools, work with the lines of communication that you have inside RQ, and your ability to set your calendars and your ability to put notes inside of there, what your specifics are, what your ramifications are, what you can do, what you can't do, and all that good stuff. So continue to do that. I'll pause right now. Mo, you got a question? I have a feeling it has to do with one of the 2 top ones because that's all we've covered. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say this last Sunday I was down at Twin Creeks and someone had a college playoff series, which is absolutely wonderful. The man had earned it and worked for it. And because the series got done early, they didn't have to do the last game. They came down and jumped on and helped out at Twin Creeks.
Awesome.
And all of us ended up sitting around at Twin Creeks, almost like, well, not almost like, if there was a campfire, it would have been like a campfire scene. And we just talked baseball, waiting for the last crew to get off. And then the last crew had a topic of some stuff that happened. So
love it.
If you guys are around an area where there's other umpires in this travel ball, like, come by, say hi, because last night was a pretty cool, organically grown, just there ended up being about 12 or 14 of us just sitting around.
Love it.
Talking umpiring, and it was a pretty cool experience.
Hey man,
I just wanted to add to that point.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. I I agree with you. And I think Justin can probably concur in this. Back in the day, this was a very tight group that included Mo and Justin and Harrison and many, many others. And I know that's where you guys cut your teeth, and that's where you guys hung out and became friends on and off the field. And it is my hope that we get back to that culture and we get back to that way of development and learning this great advocation. And to hear that somebody had a collegiate playoff and then decided to come back and commit their time and efforts and hang out and have that banter. Jeez, there's nothing more rewarding, and it's awesome. And we've got great people that are like Mo and like Justin, Harrison, Scotty down south, Pete, all those guys that work high level of baseball now, but are so willing to give their time to come back and share knowledge and all that good stuff. And we really want to cultivate that. We really want to make this part of our fabric of our organization, that we're giving back and that we're sharing the knowledge. And that's a great story. So thank you, Scotty. I appreciate you chiming in on that. That's super, super. Okay, next point. We need to know, in regards to your calendars and your blocks, what you cannot do. We're assuming that if you don't put any parameters, you can work a full day. Okay, you can work both days. But if you put something in there, that means you can't work for that period of time or that entire day, which is fine. We totally understand that and appreciate that.
It'll probably be like 11 p.m. my time.
So we are definitely looking to just know what you cannot do. So just so you know, because we've gotten some questions about that, and I definitely wanted to clear that up and make a bullet point about that. What you cannot do needs to be reflected inside of the RQ platform. Okay. Be aware of obstacles on the baseball diamond. Once again, we don't, especially at Twin Creeks, it's so tight there. Baseballs sometimes get astray. I know bats do. And when we're rotating and we're moving around, sometimes we get lost in where we're at. I know somebody blew out an ankle a couple weeks ago. Let's just be very aware of our surroundings and all that good stuff. In my visit a couple of weeks ago, everybody does a great job of making sure everybody stays in the dugout. And God, I hope to God, when Unrival finally breaks ground on this facelift at Twin Creeks, I hope to God they build some bigger dugouts, because those things are crackerjack boxes. They're so small, and it's tough to keep those kids in and confined, and coaches and all that good stuff. But everybody continues to do a great job of making sure everybody's safe in those very confined areas. But we also need to make sure that we stay safe and that we're aware of our surroundings as we navigate the baseball diamond. Okay. So once again, have that great presence, you guys, when, between innings and all that stuff, warm-up pitches, batters coming up. We want to have a good cadence. We want to keep things moving. We want to expedite the between innings. One of the biggest complaints I get is how long it takes to actually navigate, between innings. We want to shrink that time. So the rule of thumb for me is that 8 warm-up pitches to start, and then break that down to 5 after that, and keep these kids going. These kids are 9, 10, 11, 12, 8 warm-up pitches every inning. They don't need it. Keep their arms fresh, meaningful pitches, all that good stuff. And I think we'll do well. We'll serve our purpose. Okay. Remember, I have a mandate and a communication kind of policy in regards to text messaging partners. Once Harrison publishes a schedule, or Scotty publishes a schedule, or Pete publishes a schedule, let's continue to maintain that. I keep secret shopping people and hitting them up on particular weekends saying, hey, send me the communication with you and such, and make sure that you guys are talking about a rival. You're talking about walking into the ballpark together, into the field together, walking up to the tent and checking in with John or Cameron or any of those people that are there. getting your baseballs, getting your game cards, all those important things. What color are we going to wear? Are we got, we're going to put on jackets? What are we doing here? All those things can be done through that protocol, that process of communication via text message. I think it's really, really important. To your credit, everybody that I've hit up and secret shopped, everybody's had their screenshots ready and they've sent them back quickly. So super excited about that, and very appreciative of that. And I think it's just going to help us in the long run. I know we got sideways a little bit a couple weeks ago with people kind of scattered and going to the wrong places and ended up in the wrong fields and whatnot. On any particular weekend, there's so many moving parts, and Harrison is putting a puzzle piece together on some of this. So we've got, partners here, but then this guy fractures off and goes over here, and this guy leaves his partner and then goes over here, and he's switching fields and so forth and so on. So these communications are vital for us to be able to execute and expedite these games in a timely fashion with inside of our time parameters. So continue to make sure that we're using the text message protocols. Okay, Mo, you got your hand up again, and I'll pause so I can take a drink. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Justin and Scotty Jones aren't talking, so I feel like I'm supposed to keep my mouth shut, but I just don't have that ability. Over the course of a day, when I used to be in these guys' role, we actually kept a stopwatch. And one, as an umpire, I would advise you, like, I count down from 10 on every plate meeting. I count down from a certain number on in between innings. Like he said, pitches. If there's not a catcher, if it's not 5 seconds and I don't see someone coming out here, I very politely, because I'm always very polite, Havy, don't even start with me. I go, hey, could someone come out? Like, what are we doing? Do we got? Yeah, over the course of a full schedule, there might be a half inning or so that no one comes out, but most of the time a coach will run out. Someone will do that. We kept a stopwatch. The field that did that finished 90 minutes before the field that didn't. And I don't know if you guys know this, but we don't get paid by the hour. So the difference between getting home at 10:30 on Saturday and midnight on Saturday without affecting any baseball is completely within our hands. Now, it's not always literally going to be that much. It might be 30 minutes, but if I have to work 30 minutes less, I'm going to. Like that's a really big thing with all the fields. If you just stand there and let them have a mound visit for, 60 seconds, then they walk off, then the pitcher does that. Another big one is foul balls. Foul ball goes off, give a new baseball to the catcher, get the pitcher back up on the bump, let's get some signs. They can get you the ball later. John Blakely has no more balls. Everybody else has more baseballs. We can find more baseballs. Get them a ball, let's get playing. And I kid you not, we've done a stopwatch on it on separate fields, and we were all within about 10 minutes, and the average was 90 minutes earlier. Think about that. You get a 6 or 7 game schedule and you're done 90 minutes earlier. That to me, that was weighted. I was like, I am staying on this stuff.
Yeah. You know what, Scott, I'm going to jump in and there's a way to do it. It's an art form, and it's hard to be engaged and show up when you're doing this all the time and you've got all these games every weekend. It can be a grind, man. And I'll tell you what, there is a way though. There's an appreciation that everyone involved will have for you if you're out there managing your game professionally, if you look like you want to be there. And like Scott said, you're proactively trying to keep things moving without looking like you're trying to get out of there. There's an art to it. It makes the experience so much better for everyone else. And I'll tell you what, you may not get done any earlier per se, but you will, like, overall it'll average out. You will get done a little bit earlier. And even if the next game doesn't start any earlier and you're still there till whatever time at night, you're still not on your feet the whole time. It gives you a chance to go get a breather, take a minute. You're not running from this game to the tent to get a card and coming right back and starting again, because that's the kind of stuff that'll piss you off and wear you out. So Hey, sometimes it doesn't work out. Sometimes you get screwed and you have to start the seventh inning with a freaking minute on the clock. And then the visitor bats for 20 minutes. Dude, we get it. We've all been there. Numerous weekends out there doing that with the wrong home team. It happens. But man, be proactive and making, start to work on this stuff. It will really, really help you out. And I'll tell you what, everyone involved will appreciate you a little bit more, except for the drunks, but we do what we can.
Those are well said sentiments, and apparently, I'm finding out the only the drunks hang out at BLD Manteca right now. So,
Oh, they're down here too.
yeah.
Oh no, I found one at Twin Creeks at 8:30 in the morning on Sunday.
Oh, that's
Lovely.
nice. That's good. Yeah. Hey, those are all good things, and and Scotty and Justin know from their time, working professional baseball and collegiate baseball as well. Everything is timed in those two spaces now. It's all timed, and I could argue that it's made the product better. And I will tell you also, there's a lot of discussion behind the scenes of creating a timing element in travel competitive baseball. There's a lot of discussions that are going on in creating a time mechanism to keep the games kind of moving and flowing. And so stay tuned for all that good stuff because it's coming. Okay, again, inventory control here for uniforms. I'm not going to be the fashion police, but I tell you what, if you look the part, you pass the part. And if you look the part, 9 times out of 10, you get the benefit of the doubt. When you don't look the part, you got no shot in hell because they'll never believe you. And if you don't think that they're looking at how you look, come again. I will tell you that when I was out there, 3 weeks ago, I think it would is been or two, something like that. You probably noticed I walked all the way around and I was in the stands. I was talking to people. I had a clipboard and I asked a lot of fans, "Hey, what do you think of those umpires right there?" That was the first come. That was the first question to them. And then, they would be like, "Well, why do you want to know? You're dressed like one. Why do you want to know? What are you going to tell them?" I said, "No, I want to know. I want to know what you think. What's their appearance? What's their demeanor? Do they look approachable? Do they look like they're having fun? Do they look engaged?" All those attributes that we're wanting to find in good officials. And interestingly enough, most of them all came back to looking the part looking the part. So if we can look the part, even though we may have really bad judgment, hopefully not every single weekend, maybe every now and then, we can get away with some stuff and we can get some believers out of that. Because I will tell you that in the travel competitive baseball space, it's not necessarily all the calls that you get right. It's the way in which you go about your business on the field. And if you look like you're enjoying yourself, you look like you're approachable, you look like you are somebody that they can have conversation with, you don't look like a serial killer, you don't look like you just got off the L train, um, you're going to get more of the benefit of the doubt. And people are going to believe you more. They're going to sympathize with you more. They're going to go the extra step for you a little bit more. They're probably going to hold off on one less criticism of you more. And you're probably going to get more thank yous as you depart the field than you would get, the negative comments. So start to take inventory of your uniforms and really take a look at it. I mean, dress up and go look in the mirror at home and then maybe run it by your partner. Hey, how do I look in this thing? Like, do I look right? Do I look okay? Ball bags, a little faded. Back of my black shirt, a little faded. Hat looks like I rinsed out every bit of dirty dishwater soap on it. Just saying. So, take some inventory in your uniforms because looking the part makes you feel like being a part and you get the benefit of the doubt a lot. So it's really, really important. Okay. Ejections. I need to be made aware as soon as possible. So as soon as that game is over, if you have time to call me, great. If you don't, a quick text message, just some basic fundamental, hey, Billy, this is such and such at Twin Creeks, field 6. I had an ejection of a head coach over balls and strikes. There was a warning. I'll call you after my next game. Boom. I'm good. Love that. That's great communication. So that way, if I'm pressed or if I'm called by whomever, at least I've got something to go on and I can speak to that. When I don't have that and I get blindsided, it's a little bit more of a challenge for me to speak to that. So it's very, very
Billy,
important.
I just have a question real quick.
Yeah.
Just to reiterate. So you're saying after the game, shoot you that text message before, like, we switch out or anything like that?
If
to
you
make sure
if you
have a
have
heads up.
time, if you have time, I know
then-
it's tough sometimes because we're going from one field to the next, or we're going from one game to the next, and we don't have that time in between. So maybe if we enlist our partners, at the tent, hey, give Hayes a quick call for me. We got to get this game started. Had an ejection, field 6, da 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 da, and let John or let the guys be able to just inform me if you can.
Okay. And
if
the report comes at the end of the day or the end of the weekend?
The report comes at minimum the end of the weekend. If it's something that involves threats, contact, that probably should come that night if we can. And I know that that's tough because some of us are getting done really super late. But at minimum, a conversation so we can get our hands around it and whether or not we need to take action as a group and notify Unrivaled so they can take action and sit that coach down, or just keep that coach or those fans or whatever the scenario is out of the ballpark and out of sight and out of mind. Okay, that's the important part.
Gotcha. No, asking for a friend because a friend of mine had an injection last weekend, and I feel like a friend of mine may have an injection soon again. So I just wanted to make sure I got the procedure right.
That friend sounds like he might be related. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, my wife sent you the email with the report because my computer wasn't cooperating. But yes,
Understood.
I feel like it'll happen again, so I want to make sure I get it right.
I'm guessing that you're probably right, my friend. You're probably right. Okay, let's see if I can move to the next one. Okay, no, we do have the right deck. I feel like I'm repeating some of this stuff from last time, but it's okay. All right, mentoring take place by crew chiefs. As you guys know, we have some crew chiefs that have been assigned to BLD, Manteca, Billy Hebert. Those guys are all doing a tremendous job. I'm hearing wonderful things. These people are staying after their assigned games and doing evaluations of people and submitting those evaluations on some of our newer partners. Tremendous stuff. So if you've got a crew chief type role person coming up to you and giving you feedback, some pointers, relish that, understand that, take that advisement, utilize it to the best of your abilities. These people have been around a long time. They've been part of the organization and the organization before us and the organization before that. And so these are all very valuable people, seasoned folks in this space. So by all means, embrace it, learn from it, take your notes, and be better. Be better for their ability to help you out. Okay. Okay. Once assignments come out, and those are going to be pretty consistent with Thursday, Friday at the latest. But I know H is really pressing to get those things out on Thursday. We're really taking a deep dive into our partners and all of the details, times, fields, breaks, sites, all those type of things. As we get busier, and it is all coming with multiple fields, you're talking 19, 20 fields coming up, both Southern and Northern California. It's imperative that we're looking at our assignments and we're really diving deep into the detail, and we're accountable. We're making sure that where we're supposed to be, when we're supposed to be, why we're supposed to be, that's where we are. Okay, so it's really important once those assignments get published that we start to do some of those cadences and we start to think about, okay, I'm going to reach out. I'm the first one listed. I'm going to reach out and I'm going to text partner B, and I'm going to let him know that I'm going to be there at 7:30 for my 8 o'clock first pitch, and we're going to walk in at this time and blah blah blah. All those things. Those are all important things, and they're things that we're starting to do and we're starting to make a habit. And that's what I really love, because habits don't have to be thought about. They don't. Habits happen naturally. That you make them a habit, they're part of your everyday. If I probably polled everybody on this call, we probably all woke up this morning, right? Well, hopefully some of us woke up this morning. We might still be sleeping, who knows? But I woke up this morning. That's a habit. I wake up every morning about the same time. It's a habit. It's a condition that I have put in my life to make me successful. So those are part of the things that make us successful. So continue on with all those great things. Once again, let's be mindful, of our interaction with coaches, players, parents, fans, and the likes. They are listening. They are taking notes, and they are not afraid to share any comments or concerns about us as officials. They're just not. They're very, very open to do so, and they're not worried about it whatsoever. My time at Creeks and BLD a couple weeks ago, got a lot of comments and saw a lot of stuff. So it was really good to be boots on the ground, and I look forward to my next opportunity, which is coming up in a couple weeks, to do it again, and a lot of fun. And so just be aware, because people are listening, and people are they want to get after us. People are strange. Everybody wants to point the blame on why somebody lost or somebody wasn't successful in playing a sport. And 9 times out of 10, they look at us, even though little Johnny, who's, spending $200 a month on hitting lessons and catching lessons, went 0 for 3 at Creeks this last weekend. Who knows? They want to blame us. So.
Billy, am I allowed to do my third strike?
Yes, of course.
It was really eye-opening to me, just to add on to everything Billy's saying. Like, everything you said can be used against you and will be, because I've been in both roles. But I looked up after the plate meeting, and, like, I'm not kidding, 5 different parents were putting cameras up there.
Yes.
Not only is everything we say heard and used against us, and everything Billy just said, there's video now. It doesn't matter what you do. You are on camera the entire game, between innings, all of it.
Oh, yeah.
So dare I say, if you're going to yell at someone, at least have good body language. But I mean, there's video now, and video doesn't lie. So it was, I turned around and I looked and I went, oh my God, there's more cameras on me than where I used to work.
Yes.
It was seriously, I was like, they have these things that go on the fences now to make it easier. And so just don't umpire that way, but do keep that in the back of your mind. Like, if you do the right thing, you're going to be proven to do the right thing. And I don't know, that just resonated with me when I saw all the cameras this last weekend.
You almost segued me to the videos I'm about ready to show, because it picks up everything. So good point and great talking points. And you're right. Everything is filmed. Everything's documented. There's nowhere to hide. It's everywhere. And it's migrated into youth sports now. And you're one YouTube moment away from, being somebody's reel. I guess that's what they call it. I don't know. But I don't even know what that means. I know what that means in fishing terms, but not in social media or texting or whatever terms it is. But all right. So continue to bring on, and we're doing a great job of this, ladies and gentlemen. The amount of folks that are coming to the table, good people, solid people. We're continuing every week to get new faces and new people to join our organization. It's a reflection on your guys' great work, and obviously the great leadership of the team. And people are going, hey, this is a nice outfit to work for. They do things right. They pay on time. Everything's relatively smooth, outside of a few hiccups with setting up, new pay processing company. But other than that, we're pretty good, right? We're clicking on a lot of cylinders. So we continue to get really, really great people, and it's 2 and 3 people a week, new faces, and we're getting people from outside the state of California that's coming out and working with us, whether they're on vacation or one person's on holiday, because that's what they say in their country. We got people coming out for the summer. Word gets around, and it's a good thing, and that's what we want, and we need it because we've got some busy times coming up, and that leads me to the next part. As college baseball kind of unwinds here in the month of May, and we kind of trickle down the high school season, we're going to ramp up. So all those high school kids, like I mentioned earlier, they all start to migrate to their, travel ball teams, their showcase teams, all those things. My son is in that transition right now. He's got 3 weeks to continue to train to get ready for, his summer circuit that lasts 7 or 8 weeks. And it's like every single week they got something going on. They're flying here, traveling there, they're going somewhere. So we're going to get busy. And, I just told Scotty in the call prior, we had a umpire tournament call because we got some tournaments coming up this week. I just got through a connection, and I'll share this really quick, little sidebar thing. This guy is out of Texas. He runs a tournament organization called Prospect National, right, Scotty? I think it's called Prospects Nationals. And what he's done is he's teamed up with all the high-profile collegiate programs in the country to have travel ball tournaments that are centrally located at that high-profile team's location. Okay, so I'll give you an example: Oklahoma State, Oregon, TCU, Tennessee, Alabama, to name a few. And so through a connection, and you'll love this, a coach at a Division I program, he is the head of recruiting at a Southern California big-time baseball program. He called me because he knows I'm in the umpiring business, and we've had a lot of great interactions over the years. I've had to scold him. We've yelled at each other. We've laughed about it. We've hugged about it. We've done all those things, but he respects me. I respect him. He got a phone call a couple of weeks ago because his institution is hosting one of these events for this gentleman in Texas. And he says, I got your guy. I'm going to give him a call today. So he called me. He says, are you interested? I said, absolutely. I've actually heard of the organization. Actually, my son is playing in one of the events up at the University of Oregon in June. So this is a great opportunity for us because this is just more opportunities for all of you. This is going to be really, really solid, good high school baseball being played at all these universities and surrounding areas. So it's awesome to have those connections and that connectivity. It's awesome to not have pissed everybody off in the baseball world. That's why I tried not to do it. So these are good things. But wonderful people coming forth, and we're super excited. We got a lot of great people coming aboard for the summer, and we're going to need it. Harrison's going to need it. Scotty's going to need it. Pete's going to need it. Stu's going to need it. So keep it coming. We truly appreciate it. Again, continue to fill out our game cards as best we can. Now, I'm going to share a little story. I have not filled out a game card in my life, except I did it 2 or 3 weeks ago for the first time. And you want to know how bad I screwed up that first game? It was bad because I didn't take the time to actually read it before I had to start filling it out, and didn't realize that some of the things I was writing down we don't even keep track of, and things that we do need to keep track of, I failed to do so. And then I got the home team and the visiting team mixed up. So when I handed in my card to John, I was embarrassed. I was like, this isn't good. Not because it wasn't legible. It was because it was a dumpster fire and it was all over the place. And I put information in the wrong spaces. And what I did was I took the time to actually read it. So going into game 2, I went, I've got this now. I'm going to do a better job and make sure that what is on here, John understands and it's in the right places and it makes sense. So I continue to encourage each and every one of you to fill out and hand in a legible, readable game card for our site reps and their sanity, please, by all means. Okay, last point. Continue to do what's defendable. Continue to do what is supportive, okay? And continue to always display and make sure that we can defend your actions on and off the field. If we can do those things, we're going to be in such great shape, and it's going to be tremendous for us. Really, really good. Okay. That's all my blowhard stuff. Let's see if I can advance. Okay. Now we're going to get into some of the videos, and I'm excited about this because this is you guys working. This is travel baseball. And what we're about to watch is a championship game that took place about 3 Sundays ago at BLD. And there were some things that transpired, and unfortunately, this game ended in a forfeit of both teams. It ended in a forfeit of both teams. Not the way I wished for it to end. I certainly understand how it got there. And I hope that by watching the video, I can kind of show you guys some of the things that led up to the moment that the game was forfeited and why human reaction and human behavior leads to situations like this.
Can I speak a little bit, Billy? On
yes,
that?
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Billy. I know I'm killing your flow. I work in applied behavioral analysis, and I wish I knew then what I know now. I know that's a song by someone famous, but there are times people get into their irrational brain. That doesn't mean they're irrational people, but they get in their irrational brain. And if you try to talk to them in your rational brain, they're not processing in their neural pathways the same thing. And so if we can remember that sometimes people, in Billy's words, get emotional and we deal with it that way, that was something that helped me a lot, primarily on Sundays. And the later you get into Sundays in travel ball, is that people start getting into their irrational brains. People start getting emotional. I'm going to leave the alcohol part of it out of it. Like they get irrational. And the more you try to rationalize with them, the more their irrational brain just responds to whatever they feel they saw, they felt, they did that. And that really helped me in travel ball, which in turn really helped me at higher levels.
Amen. No, those are great points, and you're 100% right. And I think we've got some video to depict this. What's interesting about one of the teams, I know one of the teams fairly well. The other one I don't know that well. And I think you're right. Some very rational people got irrational during this game, and it was a combination of things that transpired that just got this thing off the rails. So, anyways, let's dive into the plays. And the first one is a missed base example. And so I'm going to run this, and I hope it's not too loud. If it's too loud, I'll turn it down. But there's some things in here that I definitely want to try to correct. And I'm going to make sure the sound is down just a little bit before I hit play. I want to say that this is runners at first and second or third or whatever, but we got a base hit and we got run scoring. And the batter runner ends up with an inside the park home run, and we've got a missed base. And I want you to pay particular close attention to the plate umpire and the base umpire. We end up getting this right, but it's not mechanically sound. And we'll talk about it after we watch the video. Here we go. So someone noticed that the batter runner missed third. Don't know who. We haven't taken the ball out of play, so we don't have to put it back into play. Now we've got to guess what just transpired there, and hopefully I can go back. Yeah, we can go back. So the base umpire calls him out. Because the base umpire, I don't know if you guys remember, see if I can get it to go back here far enough. We'll see where he was positioned. Let me get back there. Look where he's at. And watch his head. He sees it 100%. So ideally, according to our mechanics and whatnot, the touch of third is normally relegated for the plate umpire. So he's got the touch of third and obviously the touches of home as well. So in this particular situation, I would have loved to have seen this plate umpire actually right here during this entire ball being hit down the right field line and R3 scoring, R2 touching third and scoring, R1 touching third and scoring, and the batter runner touching third and scoring. Difficult because, as you can see, and I hope you guys can see my pointer, we got all these markers here. This is one thing that I think BLD made a mistake. I hate these. Why couldn't we have made these a little bit smaller? But they all look like bases. It's ridiculous. But this is the base that's up here. And that young man missed it bigger than Dallas. He stepped right over the top of it. And luckily, my first base umpire, who was in the middle over here in C, had made his way closer over to the third base bag and actually saw it. We had a little bit of confusion at the beginning of it when they first appealed this. We weren't sure who was going to actually make the call. This is where, right about now, yep, I keep hitting the wrong button, and I don't want to do that. Let me go back. Bear with me. So this is the ball hit all the way over. But my point is when they go to appeal, this is where the base guy would tap his chest and say, "I've got it." Especially if, and I keep hitting the wrong damn button. I'm going to get this right, I promise you. Especially if the plate guy didn't see it. Okay, that's the most important part. But they end up doing that. They end up getting this right. Okay, they end up getting this right. I'm going to fast forward it here if I can get my cursor to get down here. And they talk about it, which is good. And he says, "I was standing right there. I saw it. The coach wants to come out. He's looking at his watch." There's no time limit in championship games. So here is where I would lead the discussion as the calling umpire. I wouldn't lead it as the plate umpire because the plate umpire didn't call it, right? The base umpire called it. So he's the one that needs to relay the information to the coach. And I would also, too, like to see us do something similar that we do in the collegiate space. I'd like to see coaches not enter the fair foul lines, and I'd much rather have a discussion up here towards the imaginary 45 on the third base side with this coach. And I would also, too, probably ask this coach, the first base coach, to go back to his position, and we'll have a nice friendly conversation about the missing of the base up on the third base side. Okay? Any questions on that? Any concerns? They do a nice job of talking. Everything is calm. Body language is good. Demeanor is good. And this is where the coach is asking, so you had it as the base umpire? And he says, yes, I had it. And he missed it. And we're going to move on. Okie doke. The batter. Yep. One of the moms asked, the game changer mom asked, who's out? The batter. Very good. Okay. This next one is a check swing example, and we have an ejection. Okay. We're going to have
Billy,
a
there was
base.
a question in
our
the
base
chat.
umpire is in the middle. And the plate umpire takes it upon himself to get this check swing. So there's a couple of ways of thinking about this in a two-man system. Really, really challenging for the base umpire in some aspects to judge a check swing from in the middle. We all understand that. And I think we could talk about, going back many years and going, well, if I'm the plate umpire, I'm going to try to get as many of those as I possibly can. And that's a good rule of thumb. But we never, ever want to say in a situation or an argument when we're trying to share why we didn't defer to the base umpire that he was in the middle and he has no better look than me. We just never want to say that. We know that that can be true, but we also know that hopefully if the base umpire is paying attention, he can see whether or not that young man or that young lady offered at a pitch. What we have to be really careful is when we call one and the bat never leaves the shoulder. So let's go into the next example.
That was bad, Lily. That was bad, Blue.
Carson, you check it right here anyways. I'm like, oh.
So, couple things here. Yeah, that one's tough. The kid just kind of barely moves his bat. I think timing was probably a little quick on our plate umpire. I think if we slow those things down, we have a better opportunity to process. We have a better ability to see this thing a little bit more clearly, and we probably would have came up with a little bit different decision making there. I also would say that once the mask comes off and we're getting this rejection, we're getting this protest from this first base coach, we immediately want to try to prevent him from getting ejected. He pretty much tells the plate umpire, you're going to have to eject me because I can't stand to look at it any longer. Okay, I get it. I understand. But having that arm go up, that palm out, and stopping gives the optic that you're trying to diffuse this. You're trying to stop that action. You're trying to eliminate him coming at you or him protesting anymore. Okay, this is balls and strikes. I'm not discussing balls and strikes. Do you understand? Please, I'm trying to keep you in the game. Do you understand? Now, if they continue past the warning, okay, and it's an official warning, hey, there's not much we can do. All right, there's not much we can do. But I think what I want to get out of this is I definitely don't want to have anybody say, well, I didn't go to my partner because he was over in the C position. No, we never want to say that. But I also would say if we slow our timing down a little bit here and not react so quickly, maybe we see the entire action, and maybe what we saw was a lot of body movement forward, but not necessarily the offering at the pitch. And I know that they don't have to go very far, but I just felt that this plate umpire kind of reacted a little too quickly and decided a little too fast. And I think if he was able to look at this over again, he probably would come up with something a little bit different. Okay, so we got to make sure that that guy's gone, which I believe that they did. And we're going to go back and go to work here. Okay. Let's see what our next. Okay, so the next thing is we've got someone that's been ejected, pops off from the stands. This is another coach from the same team that was asked to leave, okay? And now he's been ejected, and he is not out of sight and he's not out of sound, because you're going to hear a comment here in a second. It's 9 versus 11, something like that, and it gets the attention of the base umpire. And let's watch how he has this exchange.
No, it's 11:09. Go. Yeah. Let's go.
So the base umpire hears that. He sees where it's coming from. It's right above the dugout, and it's somebody that has already been asked to leave. And nice job. I got to stop it right here. That's an excellent job by the base umpire. This guy also has some college experience. So the coach wanted to come into foul territory. He stopped him and said, no, we're going to have a conversation right on the line here, which I totally, totally appreciate. Again, let's watch the body language. Does a nice job. He's just explaining, like, we cannot have this. We cannot have this comments like this. This guy's been asked to leave, and it's unacceptable. And I need you to deal with it. I need you to handle it. He's not getting animated. He's not getting overly excited. And look at the coach immediately goes and he addresses the guy that's already been ejected and already makes the comment. Then he comes down, he shares with his home plate umpire what transpired just to update him. And I think this is handled very, very well, really well. And I'm happy with it. But those comments, those things can't happen. They need to be addressed. They can't just be looked over or looked past. And we got to make sure that anybody that's ejected, that's in sight or in sound, those people have to go. And if they don't, then we need to take action, and then there's somebody else that's going to go. Okay, we're going to hold that game up until all order is resolved. All right. This is a first timer for travel baseball here, maybe. Bat flip. And I know we haven't talked a lot about bat flips or celebration that can be deemed as unsportsmanlike or inflammatory. I know that we all probably watch YouTube, or we've probably seen highlights on social media, or our friends at ESPN. There's some egregious bat flipping. There is bat flipping that is definitely deemed towards the other team. And those are things that we have to address. I will tell you, I'm not a huge fan of bat flipping. I think it's ridiculous. I don't really think there's a place for it. I understand that it is a fabric of our sport now. It's done a little bit in the big leagues. It's done way too much in college baseball. It's absolutely egregious in high school baseball. And what did we expect our youth to end up doing but to mimic our heroes, if you will, at those other levels above us? So this is a bat flip that takes place, and this kid destroys this baseball. I don't know. I might have given this kid a high five or tested him for steroids. I don't know. But anyways, he bat flips. In my opinion, it is not egregious. In my opinion, it is not ejectable. In my opinion, could it have warranted a warning and to be careful? Yes. It was done on his team side of the dugout, which is another kind of rule of thumb. If they're gonna do some kind of celebratory thing with the bat, it needs to be in the vicinity of his own dugout. So he checks all the boxes with it. It was the bat never made it higher than above the kid's head. It wasn't one of those just throw it so high. I don't know if any of you saw the bat flip that took place about a month ago at LSU. The kid literally threw it 2 stories in the air. And the conference didn't do a thing, which is puzzling at best, but it is what it is. I will tell you from an observer and a person that runs the organization, this did not warrant an ejection. This was not malintent. This was not an instigating bat flip. It wasn't demeaning towards the other team. And unfortunately, when I talk about a series of events that take place that kind of gets us off the rails, this contributed to what ended up happening later. This kind of didn't help our credibility, and made people question more stuff for us. So let's watch, and then we can talk about it afterwards. But this kid absolutely, whew, man. Now, I also want you guys to see, I don't know if you guys just saw that, but I'm going to go back a second here. Watch our plate umpire. I'm almost there. Right there. Remember that, because it factors. So we're going to go over and talk to the head coach, and he's going to be quite surprised. I'm not sure what the opposing coach is doing here, but this is where we would come down as the base umpire, and we would make sure that this guy got back to his position over here on the third baseline. If he needs explanation on this play, he can go back over here. I can tell you what I think he's asking him is if he is out because of this. So the two umpires are going to chat. And to be honest with you, we haven't discussed this a lot. And some of you that work in the high school space, this could be an ejectable thing. I don't know. I will tell you, again, I'm not a big flipping of the bat. I'm not a big carry the bat up to the first base bag type of person whatsoever. But I don't feel that act in itself right there is an ejectable offense. I think that you could have some argument that you could warn him once he reaches home plate, and you could go talk to his coach and say, hey, that bat flip, that bat was in the air, and all of a sudden I have one of your other kids come running out, and God forbid if that bat were to strike him or hurt him or whatever, and that's going to happen someday, and maybe we'll get our hands around this at that point in time once somebody gets injured, God forbid. But I don't support the ejection on this. I would have supported a warning and some talking to in regards to the safety part of this whole thing. But I think that we overstepped ourselves. I also want you to remember in our reaction to the bat flip, did you notice that our plate umpire made contact with our catcher? Did everybody see that? Yep. Okay. Did everybody see that was incidental, accidental? Wasn't malice. It wasn't intent. It was just that we were trying to make our way up to point that, yeah, we recognize it's a bad flip and we're going to take action. Remember this, because it factors in a little bit here. And it's all part of the contributing factor why this thing became an S show. Okay. So we haven't, we delay the game here. We got to get the kid out, which is kind of a little bit of an embarrassment for him. Continued to, protest from the third base coach, shaking his head. Tough situation. Okay. All right. Right after the bat flip, then this happens. Right after. Before we throw a pitch.
Hold on, we have one for sure. We worked that out on second base. Run kill, right?
No run, no run.
Okay, so basically what happened here, we lost count of how many outs there were. And prior to this, we had a recorded out at second base. Okay. And I think where this confusion gets is we just lost track of what actually transpired. We put so much focus into this bat flip. So when the team over on the left-hand side of the screen asked for how many outs to reaffirm how many outs do we got, the plate umpire immediately says 0. And I think that's because he cleared his indicator and he cleared the outs at the same time, unfortunately. And it was just the timing is really rough here because we got one dugout that is like, we just ejected a 12U kid for hitting the ball off the facade with a bat flip, really? And then we got this other team going, well, how many outs are? And we got none. No, we have one. No, we have none. Oh, you're right. We do have one. It creates this whole thing that's going to accumulate here in another few frames. So the moral of the story is don't lose the outs. Okay. Let's move on to the next one. Why are we not moving on to the next one? And we're stuck. Okay, give me 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know why. Oh, there we go. Let's see here. Okay. I think I'm almost there. Hopefully I'm almost there. Oh, yep. I knew I needed to go back a little bit. Here we go. I just want to make sure I've gotten all the videos, Ed. Okay, here we go. Loses track. Oh, I think we got to go back one more. All right, bat flip. Okay. Here's where, remember the catcher that was bumped accidentally by the plate umpire during the home run and right before the bat flip, right? Or as the bat flip was happening. Did you guys notice the catcher walk aggressively towards his dugout and he was pointing? Did anybody catch that? Yep. Okay. Well,
Yep.
Guess what he did? He went and told his dad, the umpire just bumped me and pushed me aside. Well, we all know that that's not what happened. It was an accidental thing, but this is how quickly this can unravel. We'll take a look. So here is the new first base coach. Everybody can see with the mouse. The new first base coach happens to be the father of the catcher. So this guy's over here and he's steaming right now. And he's trying to figure out his moment to confront us. And it happens. So now we're in more discussion about the bat flip over here. Unfortunate. And you're going to see our friend, first base coach, father of the catcher. He's going to appear over on the left-hand side. And here he comes. And he's seeing red. Goes right up to us. Tells him, you bumped my kid, and I am not having it. Our plate umpire says, stop. That's enough. But here's the problem. Right there, we just said something to him. And what we said to him was, you're restricted to the dugout. Come to find out, this guy basically said, if you touch my kid one more time, I'm going to beat the shit out of you. That's a threat. That's not a warning. That's not stop. And that's not restricted to the dugout. That is ejection. Plain and simple. We do not tolerate that. We do not accept that ever. This gentleman should have been ejected. And even the organization thought that he should have been ejected. In fact, the organization, after this night, made sure that this man no longer coaches and he's a fan and a father again. That's how quickly they acted on this. He threatened and he shouldn't have, but we relegated him to the dugout, which I will tell you becomes another part of this scenario. We don't relegate people to the dugout. That is a high school thing. I don't know why, but we don't. That's not part of our vernacular. That's not part of our repertoire. That is not anything in the toolbox ever. They're either warned or ejected, but they're not relegated to the dugout because something will transpire in a little bit here, and that's why this game gets called, because of what happened right here. Okay? So threats are ejectable offenses. We do not relegate people to the dugout. Our base umpire does a great job of walking this gentleman away. I would highly recommend going around the catcher. So he does a nice job. Diffuses. The gentleman, after being threatening or displaying threatening techniques or habits, looks pretty calm. So that's a good thing. We don't relegate to the dugout, ever. It's never something I would ever want to hear again. We just don't do it. All right. This is another thing that hurts us. And this happens in the very next inning, first batter or second batter of the inning. This is a rough one. This also contributes. Don't think that it doesn't. It does. So you sit here and go, okay, well, what's the big deal? Strike three. That ball's basically on the ground and the kid's bailing out of the way. And I think we were just too quick. I think we were quick on this one. And I think we were a little quick on the check swing. And I'm not trying to get ultra critical here. I'm just trying to point things out that during a game, when you have all these variables that are going on, we have to try to eliminate these things because these things all build up to bigger things. And this thing's about ready to powder keg here in a second. And so the timing's really, really rough. And so when we get into these scenarios, this is where we really have to slow our timing down. This is where we really have to slow our processing down and really, really focus in because we got a lot of outside distraction that's happening around us. And that's where we really got to focus up. And this, unfortunately, just was a bad spot in the game to punch this kid out. And, of course, he mopes back, and we got everybody and their mother commenting. Okay. What we got next here? Hold on. Nope, strike three looking. Sorry. Okay. Now, remember the restricted coach? The one that threatened? Okay. Remember him? Well, he's going to get caught warming up the left fielder. So, first of all, we just don't have restricted coaches. That just never happens. And second of all, I mean, he's warming up the left fielder. He's not commenting on anything. I don't know what the big deal is, but the problem is we don't recognize it until we're almost ready to put the ball back in play. So So a minute and a half of this guy warming up the left fielder is not recognized. And you'll see it here. So we got this guy is still talking about the bat flip. We're in a 7-6 ball game in the bottom of the, or top of the 6. 7-6, top of 6. Watch the left fielder, and guess who's warming him up? Threatening dad, catcher's dad. And we're not going to notice that the restricted guy, is warming this guy up. So we throw it down, and somehow we finally see him right there again. And we go, wait a second. Wait a second. And now we want to insert ourselves. And now it gets ridiculous. So you're not going to be able to see this because the video is away, but he basically goes down and tells him he's ejected. And now they're pissed because they're like, why? Well, he was restricted to the dugout. But he's just warming up our left fielder. He's not saying anything to you. And pretty soon, you're going to see some baseballs fly over here. As the first base umpire, we need to be aware that this is going on. There's one. And as soon as the baseballs were tossed, he called the game. And now this guy's pissed. This guy's pissed. And now we got a bunch of screaming fans. Everybody's pissed. And I'm sitting here saying to myself, did we prove the point? Did we execute our abilities to manage this environment? Tough. This is why we don't restrict people. This is why we eject them and we remove them from the situation so they don't have the ability to warm up anybody. They're done. So this is unfortunate because this is a championship game. Both of these teams have been playing all day Saturday, all day Sunday. There was a lot of threats. Watch how these kids act. This kid throws his stuff. Nobody says anything to him. This kid's going to throw his glove. Whee! Another one. Whee! And now as we're walking out, you can only imagine the cat calls and the threats and just the whole thing was regrettable. So unfortunate. I think we could have used our people skills a lot better. We could have diffused some things. We could have not inserted ourselves in some of these moments. I just think that overall we could have handled things a lot better to not get the end result that we got. I understand why the game was called. I do. When you're threatened enough and you have baseballs thrown at you, I understand that. I 100% do, and I don't disagree with the calling of the game. What I disagree with is how we got to the point of calling the game. I think there could have been a lot of things done way different to have diffused a lot of the minutia that was there, that was building up, and just kind of exploded all at one time. And it's a series of things, and I mentioned that at the beginning of my discussion with you guys. These are all things that are they're building blocks, and then they end up boom. And we really don't even realize that we contributed to them until we have a chance to go back and look at them. So here's some other things here really quick, and then I'm going to turn it over to Harrison. Here's a great example of an aware. This is a very aware coach here. This is the third base coach handling his kid with very poor body language. My point is this: if a coach is going to help defend you, don't hurry them up. And you'll see what I mean by this in a second. So this kid takes a pitch in a called strike. And he doesn't like it, and it's a great pitch. Look at him. Mopey, bat slugging, body language. Watch this, coach. Timeout, son. Come here. Grow up. But watch what my plate umpire does. This guy's having a great conversation. Let him have it. Don't do that. Don't do that. Let him have that moment. He's working for you. He's trying to tell this young man, clean it up. It's a good pitch. Don't worry about it. You still got a couple more. Let's not do the whole hurry up thing. Let's just take our time, let him do his thing, and we can defend it if the other coach goes, hey, what's this is a long time out. No, he's okay. We're fine. Don't interrupt there. And if you want to give the presence of wanting this to move along, take the mask off and start walking towards them. Don't say anything. Just by your coming closer is going to cue the coach like, hey, this is going on long enough. I need to wrap this up. But just saying, come on, let's go, or hey, let's go, or hurry it up, it's just ill-timed and just doesn't look good. And that guy's doing us a favor. Let's allow him to do that. Okay? All right. Simple stuff, but I just want you guys, this is switching out of baseball, but the way in which we do it, you can tell me, do we look like the aggressor? Do we look like the guy that is not having a good time? Or do we look like we're okay? So we get a foul ball. Ricochets over to the first baseman. First baseman throws it to the pitcher. He says, nope, you got to take this one. So the kid's looking at him. I don't know if anybody heard, but he says it's not an option. He's 12. Just walk out there and say, hey, young man, let me inspect that baseball really quick so I can make sure that we're not throwing a baseball that's all cut up and we can't use it. Not an option. We just look like the aggressor. I'm sorry. We don't come across credible. And all these things are all building blocks to what transpired later. Trust me, they all see them. So just a little bit better disposition here, a little bit better body language, work on the delivery, and just walk out there and say, hey, young man, we're not going to use that's not an option. We're going to use, hey, let me check that really quick. If you want to throw that baseball, let me check it real quick. That's it. Subtle, simple. Okay? These are little things, but they're big things because they add up. Okay, here's another one. The batter and the catcher ask for time here, and this thing gets a little weird. Here we go. Batter first, catcher says it right after that. So, here's my point with this whole thing. I'm not saying you got to grant it. I don't think you should, because the pitcher's engaged and he's looking back and he's looking at the runners. And until he's looking at you and the batter, we can't call time because somebody's going to get hurt. We use our voice and we say, no, stay in the box. Simple. We're not harsh about it, but we have to be audible about it. That way we don't get the pitcher to hiccup, which he did, and he threw errantly, and we don't cause a big disruption in here. We don't cause a balk by the batter, which caused the pitcher to hiccup. It's simple. No, stay in the box. Very simple. That gets all cleaned up right here. Okay? Very simple. All right. Those are the videos. I know that took a while, but I think that they were all very meaningful. I hope you guys got something out of it. Again, not here to completely dissect the umpiring crew's ability. I think they did some things that were really handled well, but I also think they did some things that could have probably been handled a lot better. If you guys got questions at the end of the presentation, by all means, keep them. We'll come back to them. I want to turn it over to Harrison, allow him a few minutes, and then we got the rest of the guys. H, are you ready to go?
Yeah, I'm here, Billy.
Okay, go ahead.
You got me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Hey, thanks, guys. I'm on an airplane right now. We're almost to Denver, so I might be in and out. I planned. Go to the next slide.
Yep.
Please. I plan to show some things in RQ, but obviously it's not an option for me at this moment. So, basically, I just want to talk about RQ calendar. For your blocks, if you're creating a provisional block, a blue dot, then please delete the firm block, the red dot that's established. You should only have a blue dot showing. You should never have two dots on any day. So when I filter out the guys that are available, if you have a red dot and a blue dot, I won't see you. And so I have to go in and scroll through all the umpires on our list. I have to scroll through 300 umpires to find those of you that keep a red dot and a blue dot. And so, and then just to check your notes, and I have to double bag on Thursday before I release it. Just to see if anything changes. So it really helps me a lot. If you are available with a provisional block, just please delete the firm block, the red dot. And that just helps again in the filtering, so I can get you set up for what you want on that day. It has happened where, I'm not perfect, and so I did skip over somebody that had a red dot and a blue dot, and had to make that right. And so really just help me help you guys. Again, red dot means I cannot work. If you have a blue dot, you should never have a red dot. So keep it pretty simple there. Again, I was going to use RQ to show it to you, but I'll have to do that next time. So go ahead, next slide. So pay, I know we had the transition to the new RQ pay. Please don't ask me about your pay. I don't have any knowledge about payments, and I won't be helpful. It's a waste of our time for you guys to hit me up, and then for me to respond and let you guys know that I don't have any knowledge about pay. So you guys all know Justin handles payments for NCTV and Alpha, and Scotty for 5-tool and Perfect Game up north. So use those guys as your resources for pay. I'm not going to be helpful about pay. So again, keeping it pretty simple tonight. Again, I'm traveling, so I'm not going to get into too much detail, but you guys have been really good about changes and the way RQ. Really just make sure you continue to check on Friday to make sure that.
And we might be losing H a little bit there over the Rocky Mountains. So yeah, probably so. Hey, I think he's just trying to reiterate that Justin handles all the payments. I think you guys all know that. So let's refrain from addressing any payment issues. I'm going to go. Let me see if I can mute him. Hey, H, if you can hear me, you're cutting in and out, so I'll just take over.
Okay, no problem. I should be better now, but it's all good.
Yeah. So
go ahead.
Yeah. So the next thing was he just wanted to share with you guys, for you Southern California guys and for you Northern California guys, Scott Jones handles all the pay for 5-tool and Perfect Game. So he pushes the buttons for all that, and he may have something to say here in a second on that. So if you're doing those two events in Northern California, Southern California, and it has to do with pay, he is the one to address that. Now, what I will say is I know that this is a lot. We got all these moving parts and all these people to address. If you just email us to the BBUA email address and just share with us, hey, I've got a concern on something that has to do with this. Whomever's the one that's the champion of that, can you help me out? One of us will get to that. So don't be so caught up in making sure you address it to Scotty, or you're addressing it to Justin, or you're addressing it to H or me or whatever. If you just in general just say, hey, BBU staff, who can answer my question in regards to 5-tool pay in a tournament that transpired last weekend? One of us will get on that for you. I promise you. So I think that was the nuts and bolts what H wanted to try to get across. Just don't hit him up text message, and don't hit him up private email when it comes to pay of any sorts, because he's not the guy getting paid for that at all. So no worries. Okay. Great job, H. Thank you for chiming in. Appreciate it, even though you're 35,000 feet up in the air. Scotty, go ahead.
Perfect. I'm basically just gonna to let the guys know for SoCal. We are transitioning similar to what NorCal did. We are transitioning over to RQ Express. As Pete, Stu, myself, or one of the guys down in San Diego use you, I will then add you to RQ. The pay is, you got to go in, set it up just like you did with Work Market. It's actually pretty simple. For those guys that are working college baseball, you don't have to set up anything. It automatically links. So that makes it nice. It's just a different look. I don't know if Pete, if you're on here, did you use RQ to assign last weekend, or did you just do it through the spreadsheet?
I did not. I did the old way spreadsheet. I just ran out of time.
No worries. So for those guys that worked last weekend, if you were not in RQ, you'll be added tonight, and I will get you paid as soon as possible. And that was it for me.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you, Scotty. Appreciate that. Just a quick note, and I don't want to take away Justin's thunder, but we have had a couple of one-off incidents with banking institutions talking to the RQ Pay platform. What we're finding out is that traditional banks are speaking to the platform a little bit quicker than, say, a credit union. We're finding that the credit unions are just taking a little bit longer to kind of have that connectivity. So that time in transit is holding everything up. Just so everybody knows, how we do it is that the money is transferred out of our BBUA banking account, which is through Wells Fargo. It is then transferred digitally into the cloud, and then goes and finalizes and rests in the RQ Pay platform. That takes about 24, 48 hours. We're kind of getting the timing down. So what'll end up happening, for instance, this week, for this weekend's tournament, Justin will get the schedule from H, and he'll find out how many games there are and how much pay is related to that, okay, and how much assigning fees are into that, all right, and he'll get a total number. And then he will text me that total number and say, I'm about ready to pull the trigger on a transfer from Wells Fargo to RQ Pay. Because what we find is once it gets to RQ Pay and he pushes the button on Monday to finance everybody, it takes 1 to 2 to 3 days, sometimes a little bit more on the first transaction, if you have kind of a non-traditional banking institution like a credit union. Those seem to be the ones that we're finding are taking a little bit longer. Some of the other one-offs are basically it's just systems talking to each other, and the digital technologies going from cloud to cloud, meshing. There's certain systems that just take a little bit more time. So bear with us. Just know that the RQ Pay platform is fully funded, that has your pay in it, but it's just taking a little bit longer from going from RQ to your financial institution. So that's what we're finding in a couple instances. Scotty, I think you had a point.
Yeah. So with guys that are on credit union like myself, your credit union is going to show up, and if you're like mine, you have one credit union transfer number.
Oh yeah, good point.
You have 3 accounts underneath it.
Yep.
it typically goes directly to your savings or whichever account you set up first, even though you're trying to attach it. So sometimes you have to go back
Right.
through and create different routing numbers for, say, you want it to go checking, not to savings, or
Right.
into a long term or what have you.
That's
the issue I found.
We just found that out last weekend with the gentleman that he is a credit union person. We found out that one account number is associated with all different accounts, savings, checking, could be money markets, could be whatever. And the savings was the one that was listed first. And he actually was funded in his savings, but he was looking in his checking. So easy mistake, right? Nobody's fault. But it was a lesson learned. So we all found out together that, and I didn't know that. I didn't know that credit unions just had one account associated with, savings checking. So it happens. So anyways, hopefully I didn't steal Justin's thunder. Pete, you got any comments for us?
Just more reiteration, just communication, guys, with your partners, the signers, everybody involved. And, Billy with the videos, those were great. And as far as game management stuff, just kind of in a nutshell, just there's levels of it. Yes, I understand that, but let's try to work with teams, coaches more specifically. Let's try to work with them. If they see that we're trying to work with them, we get a better buy-in a lot of times from them. So just as we go into those things, and last thing, for those that are going to be working any postseason or currently working postseason coming up this week or in the next couple of weeks or last week, congrats, and finish strong, work hard, and work hard in the summer too. That's it.
Thank you, Pete. Appreciate you.
Yes,
okay.
Sir.
I think we're Justin. Hold on. Stu. Is Stu on the call? Stu, you got anything? Stu's probably going to say, no, I'm good.
I think Stu is doing a high school meeting tonight.
Oh, very good. Okay. Justin, you're it. You're on.
Excellent. Thank you. Yeah, so I'm just gonna run through this real quick.
Oh God, I've been waiting all night for this. I'm so excited right now.
I bet you have. I'm surprised you're still awake. Listen, you don't even talk to me. You can't even get your fucking shit straight in the system.
I'm muting right now. I'm shutting up, sir. Sorry. I apologize thank you for the warning.
You got it. I digress.
Am I restricted to the dugout, or I'll just be over here on the couch?
Just stop.
Restricted to the couch.
Okay, listen, back before we switched to RQ, we were having you guys paid by Thursday. That was always the goal. And that's what we're trying to get to. And as Billy said, as we moved to RefQuest and that platform, the timeline switched a little bit. The transfers that have to happen, they take a while, right? And we first transfer into Work Market, that takes a minute the first time around. And then when I fund and I hit pay and RQ starts to send money to your accounts, that takes a little bit longer the first time around. For some of you, it was fairly painless. It was pretty instant. It was 24 to 48 hours and boom. But we found out there were definitely some one-offs, and continue reaching out to me with those issues. I will do the best I can. What the one thing I can do is make sure that I hit the right amount of games, I sent the right amount of money, and that I'm actually showing you as paid, not processing. If there was some kind of problem, typically it would just stay in our processing bin and I could see it and I would know that RQ doesn't have something it needs to actually let that funding go through. Now, there are instances where it shows paid and you still don't see it in your account. And that's where we're in that void of, okay, RQ has funded it, they've sent the money to your institution, but it's still processing or pending until it shows up in your account. After the first time, that typically speeds up. Once those entities have communicated with each other through technology, it typically gets better. So again, in order to get you guys paid by Thursday, we've moved up some of our processes. We've started transfers earlier. There's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes to make that happen. So rest assured, we are doing that. And I'm happy to say that last week, I think I was able to hit the pay button on a Tuesday or Wednesday morning, meaning I think it was Tuesday, meaning everybody starts getting paid hopefully Wednesday. When I hit pay, you guys get a little, you should get an email from RQ automated that says, BBUA has sent you money or something to that effect. That means that payment has been authorized and approved and your money's on the way. Nobody's holding it. So if you're not seeing it in your account, it's between RQ and your bank account. That doesn't mean I'm not here to help you. Support at refquest.com is sometimes a little more responsive than others. I would continue to utilize that. If you're not getting a response from them, please let me know. I will reach out to our contacts there and try to get an answer. Like I say here, we've successfully completed over 120 payments, and that's probably over 150 now. So I know the platform's working, and if it's not working for like two people, believe me, your money's important. I understand. It doesn't mean that, oh, well, sorry for you. Like I said, support at refquest.com or continue to reach out to me and I'll do what I can. But please understand, I'm not holding your money. Billy's not holding your money. We are trying to pay you. And we have. And I can show you where your funding has been approved and it says paid.
Unless we make Mahoney.
Except Mahoney.
I had a little rough Jones there, but I did want to say, like, as someone who's been in baseball for 30 years, I can vouch. If any of you are new, I can vouch for every one of these guys. And I went through communication, as we talked about earlier, and I reached out to support at RefQuest, and it was remedied within about 24 hours. So
yes,
I'm fortunate enough to be friends with enough people on this phone, on this Zoom, that I could, just, hey, what do I do?
Debatable.
They were like, well, fair enough. That was that a challenge? Was that a challenge?
No.
It's too late.
No, no, really the avenues he's talking about, never did I have a thought in my mind they were withholding my money, but it was just a hiccup in the game, basically. And sometimes that happens, and my money hit my account and it was all good.
Yep. And now you should be golden moving forward. So again, my timeline, I'm trying to hit pay and get everything. I'm pushing the button on Tuesdays or Wednesdays. That gets you paid by Wednesdays, Thursdays, maybe Friday at the latest. So we're trying to stick to that Thursday timeline and have everyone paid. And like I said, there's a lot of processes behind the scenes. There's a lot of stuff that has to be tallied up and counted and make sure it's right. So again, reach out to me with issues. Don't bug Harrison. Don't bug Billy. Reach out to me, and I will do what I can. And just please understand, like please don't get short with me. Don't be disrespectful. You guys have been pretty darn good about it. And I understand it's your money and I treat your money like my money. I want you to have it. So I'll do what I can to help you. But please understand, like, we all have professional lives. We're all balancing a lot. And, I'm jumping on stuff as fast as I can. And then when I come to find out that your shit wasn't right in the system and you've been hitting me up for 4 days, that pisses me off. So, but hey, we're moving forward. We're doing great. So again, I'm here to help. That's all I'm going to say. Thank you.
Just to be clear, we're reaching out to head softball coach Justin Havey, right?
Good God, that too now. Yeah. I'm the ringleader of a team of 13 and 14-year-old girls, and it is it's something.
Well,
Fucking
very good.
travel ball dads, let me tell you. Shit bags.
I'm sorry, I couldn't
Not
help
all
myself.
of them.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's all good. Hey, I appreciate that, Justin. Thank you so much. We're reaching the 2-hour point here, so I want to get to wrap up. Is there any comments, concerns, anything from tonight's presentation, my opening remarks, the videos, Harrison and RQ, Scotty bringing on the Southern California guys with RQ and RQ Pay? Is there anything on payroll? Is there anything on the communication that Pete brought up? Yes, Mr. Frazier, please go ahead.
Hi guys. I'm Matt from Australia actually. So I'm actually
Yes, you are.
I'm coming to visit next week, and I've already messaged Harrison about it. But yeah, just like to say a big hello to everyone, and I look forward to working with whoever I get put with.
Very good. Well, Matt, welcome.
I'll work with you, Matt.
We love having you.
Fantastic. I'll work with anyone.
Welcome, Matt.
Yes. See, this is what's great about our advocation in the sport of baseball is that we get these opportunities. Think about if you wanted to go overseas or to a different country, would you be able to have this opportunity to do this? I don't know. But Matt sought us out and we've connected and we're super excited to have him and to host him. And please, everybody, give a big warm welcome, Matt and make him feel welcome while he's here and show him what American baseball is all about and American umpires and the hospitality and all that good stuff that I know you guys can provide him during his time with us. Mo, go ahead.
I just want to say to all you guys, please advocate travel ball and Billy Harrison, Justin, Scotty Jones. My time coming up the ladder, they were instrumental and working games and doing things like that. So please advocate other people coming out. People don't have to be every weekend warriors. People can just come out and get reps. And if we get 2 college guys who work every other weekend and 2 high school guys who work every other weekend and 2 little league people who want to work every other weekend, that's 3 people right there. And I promise you, I'll help make the little league people, if they want to go to high school, better. If the high school people want to go to college, better. If the college people want to move up college, better. Please, this is a wonderful group. Please let's spread the word on it's developmental, because when it was developmental 15 years ago, we got a lot of people to where they wanted to be. And I think this group with BBUA, the name's already said, I think we can get there again. And it's going to be a beautiful thing.
Amen.
Nicely said. Thank you. Anybody else? Lorenzo, please open your mic up and give us your question.
He might be gone.
Lorenzo, going once. Sorry, I'll shut.
Trying to unmute him, but I don't know if I can. I'm asking him to unmute. Well, is there anybody else that's got any questions or anything like that? Paul Remedios, please. I see
How's it going? How's it going, guys? I said it earlier in the chat, but I just wanted to give a shout out to Scotty Jones for his college D2 World Series assignments, and I believe Super Regional Crew Chief, if I'm not mistaken, and as well as all the other guys in the group who got whatever JUCO or NCAA assignments. I'm sure there's more coming in for D1 for some of you, but just congratulations and good to work with you guys and learn from you.
Well said. Yes,
Excellent.
we need to extend that. Yes, our very own Scott Jones has been selected to work the Division II National Championship Men's College World Series in Cary, North Carolina, coming up next month. He's also going to be acting as a crew chief in a super regional, and he's also been awarded the Mountain West Conference tournament or the WCC.
I'll be the crew chief and the regional for D2, and
There you
then
go.
I'm taking the super off for the WCC tournament.
Very good. So
Nice.
lots of accolades coming Scott Jones' way. Many, many years. Trust me, I've been probably part of most of it. So
That's a great
Hey,
run, man.
As much as you joked about me, man, sincerely, I'm so happy for you. Great job, man. Well deserved.
Yep. And anybody that's working for us that has JUCO playoffs, please, by all means, if there's high school playoffs that are coming up, Rich Clark, I have a feeling you're going to announce some high school playoffs, which I'm sure you're a part of. Go ahead. Rich. Let's see here. Can I unmute?
There you go.
There we go.
I had the tap where it said tap unmute.
No, nothing about high school playoffs, but I did get selected for
Congratulations. Good stuff.
Wednesday already. The lights at Twin Creeks. Can we please get them turned on
Sooner?
earlier,
Okay.
sooner?
Okay. What time are they coming on now? My recollection when I was out there a couple weeks ago was around in the 7 o'clock hour. Am I incorrect or correct of that?
It was so they don't. It's Lonnie goes out and turns them on manually. Fields
They're
1 to 6 he can
the
do from his
time.
office, and then 7, 8, 9, and 10 he has to come down there and throw a breaker. But it's already dark when he comes down to turn them on.
Okay. So what time do we think they need to be turned on? 7?
I would say a minimum of a half hour before sunset.
Yeah, I think
Half hour before
I think
sunset.
half hour before sunset though, Rich, I think would be very hard for Lonnie. We both know Lonnie. I think setting a hard time with daylight savings. We were back there last weekend making sure all the lights are on by I think 6:45 because twilight it started getting a bit frisky. I would say 6:45. What do you think, Rich?
Yeah,
Like just
I
setting
mean,
a time.
yeah, I mean I had my yellow lens glasses on, so it's a little bit brighter for me.
Yeah,
When it's
you were
I thought that helped me, but I still came out late. And they had just barely turned the lights on.
I
Okay.
think for Billy trying to translate through the baseball program to Twin Creeks, it would be we should just pick a time. And I think 6:45 was when it was overcast, there was twilight, it was hard to see the baseball. And then if they push back and say 7 o'clock, we look like we don't. Billy looks like the hero. And sorry, Billy, that was a joke. You can smile. But then we have some kind of grounds for negotiations. And I'm just thinking outside the box with you. I'm not, but you and I were there last Sunday. I think about 6:45 was when it was starting where I was like, it's kind of hard to see the ball. So if they set a hard line with Lonnie and say you need to have the lights on by 6:40, by the time Lonnie turns the lights on, it'll probably be 7 o'clock. But then at least we have lights on by 7 o'clock.
Even the cost difference from 6:30 to 7 is nothing. To turn all the lights on that place a half hour earlier than what they are.
That's a them issue. Let's do a us issue, and then Billy can handle that from there.
Yeah, I'm gonna suggest somewhere between 6:30 and 6:45. I think that'll work out for us. Okay. Any issues at BLD? I think those are better lights there, right?
No, they're BLD. I've got no issues.
Oh, and I know this has gone long, so I'm going to make this really, really quick. Really quick. We are going to have baseball opportunities starting June 1st for 2.5 months. Midweek games. 3 nights a week, 2 fields, 3 fields, 2 games per night. For those that want to work on their craft and make some extra money. Starting June 1st. The deal is being worked out right now. We're past the proposal. We're at the we're past the bidding stages. We just need a signed contract, and we will start to put that together.
Billy, hit us with the location.
BLD Manteca. BLD Manteca. Gotcha. Yep. Excited about it. I think it's actually going to be good. It's going to be I believe 10U, 12, 13s, and 14s. I think that's where they're going to land. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Don't hold me to that. I'm almost positive. 3 fields to start. Potentially could go more. 2 games. Time limit. Innings. 6 innings. $1.45, I believe. I'll have more. Yeah. Pay scale, just like what we do on the weekends. Just more opportunities for us during the week. Make some extra money. So more to come. Just thought I'd get that out there. Anybody else before we wrap it? Because my staff still got one more meeting to go. It's all good though. Good meeting. I love this stuff. This is what makes us better. This is what separates us from every other group. Not every group, because I do know some people, some colleagues of mine that do the same thing, but there's nobody on the West Coast that's doing stuff like this for their umpires. This is good. And you got a good group, and we've got a great staff of umpires. Super, super proud of everybody. So keep up the great work. It's going to start getting hotter. I know it doesn't feel like it outside, but it's coming. It's coming. So let's all be prepared and keep doing the great efforts that you're doing, the great communication, and the great job that everybody's doing. So thank you all. Appreciate it. Have a good night.
Thanks. Hey, I just want to say thanks, Scott, if he's still there, for doing our little clinic Sunday morning with the 6 or 7 of us before we started our day, and then hanging out way after to chat with us.
I know my mother was a little disappointed because we were supposed to go to dinner, but I talked about it earlier. That was one of the most awesome moments, sincerely, that I've experienced in umpiring. And I forgot about Sunday morning. Thank you for not bringing up Friday night either. No, man. I touched on it a second ago. We got a pretty cool corner we're about to turn as a group, and you guys get the word out there. Like, we had people sitting in car trunks just talking umpiring about their day from Saturday on Sunday morning at 7 a.m. And we had people talking about their Sunday day and situational management and weird stuff on Sunday evening. And I just couldn't leave. I literally texted my mother and was like, I'm going to have to take you to dinner on Mother's Day. No, it was, and Rich just alluded to it. Those were a couple of really cool moments. So let's get some umpires out here. Too many of these guys are working one man and working their patooties off. It's nothing but space and opportunity out here to get better.
Amen. I don't disagree. Good stuff.
All right, guys.
Take care. Have a good one. We'll see everybody soon. See ya.